I think it's about that time again. What's going on over here? Is something going on over here? Something's going on with the layout over here. What's going on? Let me see if I can fix this. Something's going on with the layout over here. Is it confirmed? It should be on the right one. Not really sure what's going on with the layout over here. Well, what the fuck's going on? Won't show? This it? No? Won't show for some reason. I don't know. I don't fucking know why. I don't fucking know. Backstage. What's going on backstage? Please, pop in the background, Mitch. I'm supposed to be a professional here. We're streaming live on a Thursday for a reason. How the fuck does this happen? What's going on? Fuck's going on over here? But let me get him on over here. Let me get him on. Mitch.
Yo, I got it.
What the fuck happened there? I'm supposed to be a professional here.
You go to settings, crop layout.
Go to settings, crop layout. I'll crop your fucking layout. This guy over here trying to be a smart ass.
Show, man. Have a good show. I'll talk
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Fucking guy. I don't know what I would do without Mitch. I don't know what I would do without Mitch. Mitch is my guy. Mitch is my go-to guy. But now that we got everything settled, I think it's about time that we get shit underway. And yes, I've checked the mic, and it damn sure sounds right, boy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here on a very special Thursday stream, because we turning up on a Thursday. Like only I can. We have minor technical difficulties on Tuesday. We got some technical difficulties on Thursday. Don't matter, because I don't slow down. I step off the brake, put my foot on the gas. As per usual, you already know who I am. Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle. It just gets better and better every time that I smell it, I'm telling you. You know what that is right there? That right there is the smell of pure excellence. Wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind! And this is the official rundown for NXT Worlds Collide and WWE Clash at the Castle. That's right. It is a dual rundown over here. And Mitch Kovsky, as per usual, making sure everybody knows I am the best in the business. Mitch Kovsky's watching. We got Peanuts watching. We got Mac the Giants fan. Shout out to him. He's great at what he does. We got Jeffrey Turner watching as well. I think we can get some more people in here, though. But we got a solid turnout thus far. Nice solid turnout thus far. And yes, it is indeed a dual rundown. We're going to be talking about two shows. Of course, Clash at the Castle is streaming live from Cardiff, Wales this Saturday at 1. So I won't be doing the LFU at 1. It's going to be earlier. But Clash at the Castle streaming live on Peacock Saturday, September 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And then, of course, we got the NXT Worlds Collide special, which is streaming live Sunday after Clash at the Castle at 4 p.m. before All Out goes live. So we got a lot of shit to talk about. A busy weekend, one of the busiest weekends that we've ever had. Now, some of you may notice that, yes, I am flying solo. Rob Williams of the Bob Culture Podcast actually messaged me late last night stating that he is currently caught up with professional obligations, which I completely understand. All of us, we have personal and or professional lives outside of what we do here on YouTube. Yes, we are real human beings. We're not cyborgs. We don't do this shit willy-nilly. We need to prioritize, and we need to make sure that we put the most important things first, which is why Rob Williams had to take the night off. He is working late at his job, which is completely fine. We're going to reschedule, and we will collaborate at a later date. But I am flying solo, and I will be talking about Worlds Collide and Clash at the Castle here tonight on this nice Thursday. And I hope that everyone is ready. I hope that everyone is ready. We have plenty of good material to talk about. And of course, Mitch Kovsky, he came in to help me out. But remember, people, tonight is an open table. Tonight is an open table. So anyone that wants to come in to the stream and talk about some wrestling, give your preview, give your predictions, the floor is open. The floor is absolutely open. You guys know who you are. Anyone wants to come on in, you can come on in, give your preview and predictions on the matches as I go along with the show. You can also talk about it in the chat as well. But before we get into the festivities here, obviously, as per usual, please make sure you follow me on social media. At HistoryMakerDJS. That is both on Twitter and Instagram. You can add me on Facebook as well for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please make sure that you like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description of the video. I'll tell you what else is in the description of the video: the rundown for AEW All Out 2022 with Top Rope Squishy. Top Rope Squishy and myself, we went live Tuesday evening at 8. And we dissected everything that's going down this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time in Chicago at All Out. Probably one of the most fun streams that I've had in recent memory. Had a lot of fun. We joked. We laughed. I broke her within the first 3 minutes of the stream with my intro alone. And we gave our expertise, analysis, and predictions on every single match that is taking place on this stacked, that is right, stacked All Out card. It is going to be fucking big. Shout out to Earl Cole as well. He's also live streaming right now with the Dynamite wrap-up show known as the Wrestling Experience. He's a great guy. Always have a lot of respect and admiration for Earl Cole. He is doing some great material, so please go show him some love as well. And of course, if you guys are not doing it, you got to make sure you show Hardcore Sports some love. We peaked over 160. That is right, over 160 subscribers. We peaked. So right now, here's what I need y'all to do. If you guys haven't already done so, you need to make sure that you are following all types of Hardcore Sports social medias, as you see right here at the bottom. Please make sure you check that out. It is insanely vital that you check that out, because if you don't, then obviously we're going to have a little bit of a problem. You guys need to check it out. It is important that you do so. That's what I want you guys to do. Anyone who is watching, please make sure you follow all of the Hardcore Sports social media pages at the bottom, right underneath the blue snowball microphone. As per usual, please make sure that you are liking the stream. It is very important, very vital that you like the stream. Once you like the stream, that gives me a much larger outreach. So I need y'all to like the stream, no matter where you may be watching from. And yes, Mitch, I saw that new countdown. Fucking loved it. I got my own personalized countdown. Shout out to Mitch for helping me out with that one right there. Please make sure that you are liking the stream no matter where you're watching it. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're watching it from, please make sure that you're liking the stream. It is vital that you do so. If you're in my channel, what I need y'all to do is I need you to go to the Hardcore Sports channel and like it over there. If you're in the Hardcore Sports chat right now, like it here, and then go over to my channel and like it over there. It is absolutely vital that you do so. Of course, share the stream out on all platforms, social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitch, whatever social media platforms that you may be using. Share it out. Let's get as many people in here as we possibly can. Retweet the streams on Twitter as well. And of course, hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, and hit that notifications bell, people. Hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube because it's the only time you won't get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. I think it is time to roll out that magic comb that Earl Cole loves so much. So we're going to light it up right here on the channel with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like Campbell's soup, oh, I'm so good. Because everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. Shout out to DJ Sums, who's also in the chat. Share it out, people. Share it out. Let's get as many people in here as we possibly can. And we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to get straight into the festivities here. Actually, a couple more things. This Saturday, the Lightning Flash update is going live at 10:30 a.m. That is right. You heard me correct. 10:30 a.m. Not 1. Clash at the Castle starts at 1. It's going to be 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So you want to wake up right, set your alarms, get your fucking asses up. We're going live at 10:30 a.m. in the morning. So you want to wake up the right way, you wake up to a stormy morning with your boy over here. That's this Saturday at 10:30 a.m. We're discussing many things, including Velveteen Dream getting arrested, Bobby Fish is no longer with AEW, and WWE, most specifically Triple H, he's looking to bring back fired superstars. 2 major names that are currently being discussed. 1 major name is actually confirmed for Monday Night Raw. So we're going to be talking about that on Saturday morning before Clash at the Castle. And then, of course, on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, before NXT Worlds Collide, we'll be going live at 1 p.m. for the rewind for Clash at the Castle. And we are going to be joined by my good friend Nick Fury. Him and I are going to be dissecting and reviewing everything that's going to take place this Saturday afternoon. So set your calendar dates for Sunday, September 4th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on these 4 different platforms for the rewind for Clash at the Castle with Nick Fury. And then finally, Jeffrey Turner. He's currently in the chat right now. He's going to be joining me on Monday. For the rewind for NXT Worlds Collide and All Out. It's going to be a big weekend. We're going to cap it off right, and we're going to end summer on the highest note possible. So set your calendar dates for all those streams. 10:30 a.m. LFU on Saturday. Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, the rewind for Clash at the Castle. And then on Monday at 2 p.m., rewind for All Out and Worlds Collide. Jeffrey Turner will be joining me on Monday, and Nick Fury will be joining me on Sunday. Now we can get straight into the matches here. A lot of shit going on. Might as well start with NXT Worlds Collide, even though NXT Worlds Collide is actually taking place the day after Clash at the Castle. One thing I will say is this. The NXT brand clearly has been the weakest brand that WWE's had for quite some time. Even with Triple H now taking over, it is clear as day that it's weak. It is terrible. It's flat out nauseating. Woke NXT fucking sucks. My friend Jay Leto talks about that all the time. Woke NXT absolutely sucks ass. NXT is the worst show in WWE as we speak. If you like NXT, you may very well be the most retarded individual that I know. I'm just pointing it out there. I don't care if you get offended by that. You want to be offended by that? Fucking be offended. I don't give a shit. But at the end of the day, Triple H, he's showed that he's slowly trying. NXT wasn't that bad last Tuesday, and I didn't watch NXT from this Tuesday. I'll have to catch up on that. But so far, I can see Triple H making a slight effort. Obviously, most of his effort is with Raw and SmackDown, considering they needed the most help out of any brand in WWE, and they've been terrible for God knows how many years. NXT's only been terrible for about a year and a half. Raw and SmackDown needed the attention first. Now, despite that, you can slowly see that Triple H is trying to improve things little by little. And with Worlds Collide and the unification of the NXT UK and the NXT brands, I do believe that this could very well be the reset, the start of a reset that NXT so desperately needs. NXT has been floundering in a sea full of shit, and it all started when it moved to the USA Network, and Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard, when they were still in power, started slowly integrating their business tactics and their booking material into what Triple H was doing, and it ruined NXT from the inside out. It destroyed it. It was like a fucking poison that they injected into NXT, and then they completely took over it, and Triple H was taken out up until the allegations from Vince McMahon came out, and he was forced to retire. This is the reset that I'm looking for. It's not going to come immediately. It's not just going to come within the snap of someone's fingers. But the reset is slowly going to be felt, and I do believe it's going to start with Worlds Collide. There's 5 matches on the show. For the most part, it looks like a semi-decent show. I don't really expect it to be anything that's going to be a blow-away, but I do believe that we're going to get some pretty decent wrestling, and it should be a nice little prelude that's going to lead into All Out. We have 5 matches on the show, and I guess we should start with the first match on the show, which this could end up being the best match of the night. This was confirmed this past Tuesday on NXT 2.0. Carmelo Hayes is defending the North American Championship against Ricochet. Ricochet showed up, and he's going to be challenging Carmelo Hayes. I have absolutely no issue with this. Now, Ricochet clearly has been a small priority of Triple H, and I say small, not in a bad way. You can't really see it too much, but Ricochet is slowly but surely being pushed by Triple H. He's on a winning streak right now. He got 2 victories over Happy Corbin on SmackDown and a couple decent matches. Probably Baron Corbin's best matches in God knows how many months. Now, we are in a scenario where Ricochet is challenging Carmelo Hayes for the North American Championship. If you are going to ask me what a reset for NXT would look like, it would be with someone like a Ricochet at the forefront. But they don't have anyone like Ricochet in NXT 2.0. Maybe a Nathan Fraser, maybe a Giovanni Vinci, maybe someone like that, maybe a Cameron Grimes. But at the end of the day, I feel as though a lot of those individuals could be main roster bound. He could very well ditch the Giovanni Vinci gimmick, could Triple H, and Triple H could bring back Fabian Eichner, put him with Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther, and reform Imperium. And then you get another tag team on the main roster. We could very well see that. Cameron Grimes could very well be called up to the main roster. Santos Escobar and Legado del Fantasma, they're already on the road to the main roster. So if you're asking me, what would a reset for NXT feel like? I honestly do believe that there is a good chance Ricochet could come out victorious. And I say that because some people have been throwing this idea around. So I don't know how likely it is, but there is a possibility that Carmelo Hayes could very well be called up to the main roster. Now, what would you be doing with Carmelo Hayes? Some people have been claiming that he should be the new leader of Hit Row. Put Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams with Hit Row. Swerve is tag team champion with Keith Lee. They're doing very, very fucking well in AEW. He's very, very happy in the position that he's in right now, so I don't really see any reason why Swerve would be looking to ditch AEW to go back. He's doing some great work over there. So at the end of the fucking day, we could very well be looking at a new leader for Hit Row. Now, Hit Row, they could just be a tag team with Brianna Brandy or B-Fab as the quote-unquote manager, while you have Top Dollar and Ashante the Adonis as the tag team of the group. But the group doesn't really have that must-see factor, that must-see flavor. The group needs a leader. With Trick Williams in there being a side character with B-Fab, and then you got the tag team with Ashante and Top Dollar, Carmelo Hayes being the leader, that could give Hit Row the extra oomph that it needs. Because right now, they're just there. I'm glad that they're back, and I'm glad that they're getting an opportunity, but right now, they're just there. So if I'm looking at it from that perspective, I'm absolutely giving the North American Championship to Ricochet. And I would put Ricochet back on NXT for the time being until they build up some solid stars to take the place of someone like a Ricochet. When NXT was put on the USA Network, Triple H, slowly but surely, he was running on fumes, and he wasn't given the opportunity to build up the proper stars that he needed. Vince McMahon was calling up Keith Lee, he was calling up Dominik Dijakovic, he was calling up Karrion Kross, he was calling up all these guys, and Triple H didn't have any time to build up new stars to replenish the spots from the bigger stars that he was losing. He didn't have any time to figure out a star to replenish a Keith Lee or a Karrion Kross, someone like that. So NXT slowly but surely started to deteriorate into nothing. Now we got a chance to rectify that by putting Ricochet on NXT for the time being, calling Carmelo Hayes up to the main roster. They switch places. Carmelo Hayes can help lead Hit Row. Ricochet could lead the NXT North American Championship division. Can you imagine the matches he'll put on in NXT with the likes of Cameron Grimes, with the likes of a potential Grayson Waller, Apollo Crews, people like that? Nathan Fraser, maybe a Tony D'Angelo, maybe a Bron Breakker. It's quite a big possibility. So if I'm booking this, I'm absolutely giving Ricochet the North American Championship. It's going to be a great match regardless of who wins, but if I'm booking this, that's what I'm doing. I am giving Ricochet the North American Championship for that specific reason. Why? Because at the end of the day, it is going to help the NXT brand overall, and Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams being added to Hit Row, that is going to help the overall feeling and the vibe of Hit Row. That's going to take Hit Row up a few notches and help them move up the ladder. We could very well see a Hit Row takeover with Carmelo Hayes as an Intercontinental Champion. Meanwhile, Ashante the Adonis and Top Dollar as the Tag Team Champions. I'm giving Ricochet the North American Championship if I'm them. I see that Jeffrey Turner just decided to join. Let's see if we can bring him on right here. Jeffrey Turner. He's going to be joining me on Monday for the rewind for Worlds Collide and All Out, but he decided to stop by here tonight. How you doing, man? Thank you for stopping by.
I'm doing well, man. How you doing? And actually, you just brought up a good point. Come to think about it, maybe it is a good idea to bring up Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes and put them over with Hit Row, because right now, Hit Row looks like they're lacking that leader to that group, that showcase star, because that's what exactly what Swerve was for that group, and put them over the top, because Swerve was that guy that was the central figure, the star of that group, and everybody else fed off him. You can bring up a guy like Carmelo Hayes, who we all believe is that true 5-tool player. I think Carmelo Hayes is one of the most talented wrestlers, not just in the WWE, but in wrestling, period. So I actually kind of like what you just said. Get Carmelo Hayes up with Trick Williams, throw them in Hit Row, gives them better direction, and at the same time, let Ricochet run wild over there with the North American Championship and see if he can help out some of those other younger guys that might need some more help getting over. Ricochet could have some great matches with him, especially a Nathan Frazier, and we'll see how it goes. I like that point you brought up. What's going on, Mac?
Yeah, and on top of that, Ricochet's not really factoring into any major plans on the main roster right now. He's not winning the world title. He's not winning the Intercontinental title. He's not winning the U.S. title. So why not put him in NXT to help the younger generation for now? At least until they find the people to replenish the spots that a Ricochet is going to leave behind. Because they don't have anyone. Once Cameron Grimes gets called up, Carmelo Hayes, Tony D'Angelo, Grayson Waller, and Bron Breakker, they got no one. No one's ready. Even Solo Sikoa, when he gets called up too, he's actually rumored to be called up, and he's going to get put with the Bloodline.
Yeah. He's probably going to be up here. I wouldn't even be surprised if he's up there this Saturday at Clash at the Castle, and he plays a factor maybe in that championship match. So they need to do – I agree with you 100%. They need to replenish that roster because a lot of those guys that are there right now probably going to get called up in the next few months. So Triple H has got to start, building up some of those guys that are maybe just coming out of the Performance Center and don't really have an identity yet. Start getting them over on television, put them in some matches with some of the high-profile people that are on TV now. So eventually when you start calling up, like you said, a Tony D'Angelo, like when you start calling up a Nathan Frazier eventually, a Cameron Grimes, you start having new people ready to take over on television like the old NXT had. That's what made the old NXT special.
Yes,
you have that level of guys that were ready to be called up, and then right behind them, you had people chopping at the bit to take over that new NXT over there. And that's what we're waiting for.
Exactly. And Mac, if you got some shit to say, you can stop by in too. It's an open table right now since my previous guest, he had to work. So I'm here doing shit on my own. Jeff decided to come in. If you want to come in too, Mac, you're more than welcome to. Keep on sharing out the stream as per usual. We're going to move on to the next match here. This was also announced this past Tuesday on NXT. It is Katana Chance and Kaden Carter versus Doudrop and Nikki Ash, or Nikki Trash, as everyone is calling her. Now, this is for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, and I figured that they may as well put someone like this on the show. They may as well have put the NXT Women's Tag Team titles on the show. I respect the fact that Triple H is trying, but I really don't see any fucking reason why we need NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Now, that's not knocking any of these four women, but at the end of the day, this is the one match, probably the entire weekend, that legitimately no one gives a fuck about. More people give a fuck about Hook and Angelo fucking Parker on the buy-in pre-show for All Out than they do for this match. Now, that's not trying to knock them as in-ring performers. From an in-ring standpoint, this could be a decent match. Nikki Cross has always been a decent wrestler. Doudrop has always been a decent wrestler. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter are very underrated. They're very underappreciated. I'm a big Casey Catanzaro fan. I've always been a big Casey Catanzaro fan, but at the end of the day, no one gives a fuck about this. This is just something that they threw together, considering it's Worlds Collide, and Nikki Trash and Doudrop, they're from Raw, so they're going to put them on NXT Worlds Collide in hopes that we potentially see Kaden Carter and Katana Chance get their first title defense, and that'll pretty much be it. That's pretty much all it is. It is a way to get them their first title defense, and right now, no one gives a shit about Nikki Cross and Doudrop. Now, the one thing that I could see coming from this, and I would love if this would happen, I actually hope that they continue to lose, so that way they'll finally fucking snap out of it. Nikki Cross will go back to being Nikki Cross from losing so much that she'll just fucking snap, and then Doudrop will go back to being Piper Niven, and we could actually start to see them booked a little bit more decently than they're being booked right now. That's what I can see coming. That's the one positive that I can see coming out of this. Will it be a semi-decent match? Yeah. We got four semi-decent performers in there. So at the end of the day, we could get a decent match, but at the end of the day, does anyone really care? No. The women's tag team titles on the main roster and in NXT, completely fucking worthless. But I got Katana Chance and Kaden Carter taking the win here. No reason for them to lose the championships. Let me hand it over to you, Jeff.
I mean, you just pretty much – I hate to keep – I know it's like boring for me to keep agreeing with you, but how can I disagree with the fact that Nikki ASH has been a stupid gimmick since they started it. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but I understand it's like her idea for this whole superhero gimmick, and it had some steam at the beginning. The younger – girls liked it. It was
from how much it smelled like shit, maybe.
The younger fans might have enjoyed it or something, and she did actually somehow win the women's title at the time. But it's an absolute joke with how they've been booked. Nobody cares about them. They've been irrelevant this entire time on the main roster. The fact they were even in that women's tag team tournament just shows how bad not only the women's division is on the main roster, but how much they have no tag teams at all. I love Nikki Cross when she was wrestling back in Sanity, as well as Piper Niven is a tremendous wrestler when she actually gets the opportunity. Yes. And I think Katana Chance and Kaden Carter are an excellent tag team. I think they flow so well together. Their moves are excellent. They come off very good. I actually think that maybe they're holding it off right now because they want to have teams like Valentina Feroz and Yulisa Leon, another good young tag team over there. Maybe they're going to build them up a little bit more. And same thing with like a Tatum Paxley and an Ivy Niles, see how they're going to go along in NXT for a while. But I think the match will be good overall, but nobody cares because nobody is programmed to care because of how horrible they have booked Nikki ASH and Doudrop. And it's just pretty much like you said, it's a way to get the first title win for Katana Chance and Kaden Carter going forward.
Exactly. Again, I really do hope that they end up continuing to lose, and all the losing will inevitably snap them out of this stupidity that they are currently being booked as with Doudrop and Nikki Ass. So we'll see what happens going forward. One last reminder, people. If you're in my stream, go over to the Hardcore Sports stream, like it over there. If you're in the Hardcore Sports stream, go over to my stream, like it over there, vice versa. Keep on sharing it out. We want to get some more people in here. We got plenty more to talk about, including this Fatal 4-Way Elimination match, I believe it is. It was confirmed to be a Fatal 4-Way Elimination match. It is Gallus. This is Mark Coffey and Wolfgang versus Pretty Deadly, Elton Prince and Kit Wilson versus Diamond Mine, Julius and Brutus Creed versus Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen for the NXT and NXT UK Tag Team Championship. Now, this is a unification match. I expected this to come. I said all the way back when Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen won the NXT UK Tag Team titles when they were over in the UK, they did it deliberately, specifically because Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard were still in charge at the time, and they were now running NXT UK, so they wanted to see if they could get some more exposure on NXT UK by giving NXT 2.0 superstars the NXT UK Tag Team titles. But you see, they forgot the fact that no one gives a fuck about NXT 2.0, so why would anyone give a fuck about NXT UK? But we're here. I'm glad that they decided to get us here, and I'm glad that they are evolving the NXT UK brand. I'd like to hope that now with NXT Europe coming, it's going to be a nice reset for the brand. It's going to be a nice reset for a lot of talent. Now we got this, and it seems all but confirmed that Diamond Mine are going to unify the championships, and rightfully so, because they are the next top-tier youthful tag team that they've been pushing. They have come a hell of a long way. The crowd down there loves them. They got endless amounts of potential. They've put on some damn good fucking wrestling matches. And at the end of the day, Diamond Mine right now, with the run that they've been on, if they keep these two going the way that they're going right now, it is absolutely going to result in a next top-tier tag team when they inevitably make that jump to the main roster. Gallus, they're fantastic. They've had their time. I'd like to hope that Gallus is probably going to stay in NXT 2.0 for a little while because they're a great fucking stable. On NXT UK, Gallus was actually one of the highlights of NXT UK. Loved Gallus. All three of them are great. Pretty Deadly, they're a damn good fucking tag team too. They're not the best, but let me tell you something. They know how to be pretty boy pricks, and that I respect. I even said that they're the best NXT UK tag team champions ever. Their reign as NXT UK tag team champions was fucking great. Their matches were pay-per-view quality. They were putting on pay-per-view quality matches in a fucking empty BT Sports studio. That right there is to be respected. That's why I like Pretty Deadly. But at the end of the day, Diamond Mine is the team. Diamond Mine is the absolute right team to win this, and there's no reason why Diamond Mine should not be coming out victorious with both sets of championships, unifying the championships. The interesting part about this and the X factor in all of this is Roderick Strong. What is going to happen exactly with Roderick Strong? I do not know. Now, if I was them, I would not break Roderick Strong away from Diamond Mine. Roderick Strong is a singles guy. He could be decent, but he's really not going anywhere minus the mid-card. And I love Roderick Strong. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who are ahead of Roderick Strong. If Roderick Strong wants to remain relevant in the position that he's in right now, keep him with Diamond Mine. I'm even enjoying Damon Kemp a little bit. I don't even mind Damon Kemp. He's not bad in the ring. He's a boring white meat babyface, but he's not bad in the ring at all. He can wrestle. He can get down and dirty. I respect that. He's a nice little compliment to the group, but the Creed brothers are the main stars of that group. Roderick Strong's pretty much had his time, but I am absolutely looking at the Creeds as the next top-tier breakout tag team that you have. The Creeds are one of the very few individuals from this new group of NXT 2.0 talent. It's them, it's Solo Sikoa, Grayson Waller, who's great at being a fucking dick, Carmelo Hayes, Tony D'Angelo, and Bron Breakker. That's pretty much it. Maybe I'll even include Tiffany Stratton, because Tiffany Stratton, she's gotten a lot better from where she originally was. So
she's got that gimmick too. She's got that gimmick that is going to get her over because of how much like she comes off as a bitch. It's going to get over with the main roster. She comes off
a little bit like how Lay Cool used to come off. If you guys remember Lay Cool, how they were just fucking cunts at everything that they did. That's what I like about Tiffany Stratton. So I'll give her credit there. But Diamond Mine easily is the next top-tier tag team. What say you?
I mean, I was actually thinking originally that maybe they would give it to Gallus since they are the new team that's just coming in over from NXT UK, and they might want to establish them as the dominant team going forward in this new NXT fusion right now, putting the tag team styles together. But now thinking about it, it might be the best thing to do is to give those titles to Diamond Mine and just continue to build them up even better, build them up as that next big-time tag team, as you said, because no offense to Jensen and Brooks, I think they're pretty solid as a tag team. They're just more of a little bit of like a comedy act, if anything. Same thing with Fowler and Henley. It's like a comedy act going on right there. Pretty deadly.
The gimmick just isn't it. Yeah, the gimmick just isn't it. They're decent in the ring. They
they're
can go when they're given the opportunity, but the gimmick just isn't it. The
gimmick's going to hold them back.
Too cheesy.
Yeah. It's going to hold them back this entire time until they get a little bit more serious on TV. I love Pretty Deadly. I think they're excellent in the ring. I think they have like that old school type of it kind of reminds me a little bit in a way of Billy and Chuck. I don't know why, when like those two had their gimmicks, like that sort of like flamboyant type style to them, but I like it. It like comes off like that.
They almost remind me a little bit of Velveteen Dream combined with the model Rick Martel, just because of how they portray themselves. They have punchable faces, which is good when you're here.
They do. Oh, I agree. They do have like those punchable faces where every time you see them in the ring, you just want to beat the hell out of them. But yes. I love their in-ring style, and I agree with you. They were one of the best things in NXT UK overall for a while. But yeah, it's all about the Creed brothers. And one little tidbit that you have to think about that might even include Roderick Strong. Now that you brought up at the beginning of the stream, Bobby Fish is a free agent. He's not going back to AEW. Do we possibly see Bobby Fish somehow get introduced in this whole Diamond Mine storyline, that he could possibly make his way back to NXT and maybe get involved in this whole Diamond Mine storyline with Roderick Strong and Diamond Mine going forward? So you got to think about that too, because
that's a possibility. That's a very real possibility. Now, if you want to make Fish and Strong a tag team, since they have history, that would definitely make sense. If you want to make those two a tag team, that'll add another solid tag team to the ranks. I definitely wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that whatsoever. So we'll see how that plays out. But I don't know. Maybe we could see Bobby Fish. We could very well see Bobby Fish back any day now.
I think he is going to be back. I would be shocked. I would be flat out shocked, especially the comments that we've heard from Bobby Fish pretty much praising Triple H and everything he did. I would be floored if he's not back in WWE, maybe as soon as this Tuesday on NXT. I would just be absolutely shocked because of the fact that he pretty much said he would go to war for Triple H. He loves what Triple H is doing. Triple H helped him and the Undisputed Era get to a level that they never really even. I mean, they were great in Ring of Honor, but they got him to another level over there in NXT during the Black and Gold Era.
They were the evolution of. They were the new evolution. They were the new evolution.
Absolutely. So
they took over the brand.
I think he's definitely going to be NXT bound. It's just a question of would they throw him in this whole thing that's going on with Diamond Mine, or would they just throw him in maybe as a singles guy? And then, you're right about Roderick Strong. What is Roderick Strong's role in this whole entire matchup? Like, is he still secretly trying to, feel like that he's still the guy in that group? Like, he's the guy that's helped put these guys over. Like, he's not getting the credit due. What's exactly the storyline going on with Roderick Strong? That's the whole key to this entire matchup, but I agree. If it has to be the team that has to go over, it's got to be the Creed brothers because they're the money right now. No disrespect to the other teams. They're great, but the Creed brothers are the money, not just now, but in the future when they head up to the main roster.
Yeah, clear as day. We got Meiko Satomura versus Blair Davenport versus Mandy Rose. It's a triple threat match to unify the NXT and the NXT UK Women's Championship. Now, when NXT UK, they announced that they were going to be rebranded as NXT Europe, and Triple H, he clear as day was a part of that. They released pretty much the entire NXT UK roster. Normally, I would shit on it. But the reason being, and this is my mentality of thinking, Triple H is probably thinking to himself, since NXT UK is going to go on hiatus for a few months, and they're going to be rebranded as NXT Europe, these individuals over in the UK, if they're bounded by WWE contracts, they legally can't wrestle for any other promotion. So he released them with the mentality of, go and do your shit on the indies. Now, we do have some people that were from NXT UK that made their way to NXT 2.0. But here's the question that I'm asking. How many individuals like a Gallus, like a Meiko Satomura, like a Blair Davenport, like a fucking Tyler Bate, how many of these individuals are legitimately willing to relocate to the United States for the time being until NXT Europe is ready to get up and running? I would go on record and say not too many. They'll be lucky if they even get maybe one or two. They probably want to be closer to their family. They probably want to be in that vicinity range near home where they can wrestle for the independent scenes, get back into doing what they're doing, and then when NXT Europe comes around, they can go back to NXT Europe. This shouldn't happen. I'm going to tell you this right now. It shouldn't happen, but I would not be shocked if Mandy Rose walks out victorious here, because I don't believe Meiko wants to relocate to the United States. I hope that she does, because, my God, she would be a fucking boost of adrenaline that the NXT, Raw, or SmackDown women's division desperately fucking needs. And then you got Sasha and Naomi coming back, too. That'll definitely help raise the stock of the women's division tenfold. Blair Davenport as well. She's fucking awesome. Her matches with Meiko over in NXT UK were great. But I don't know. I honestly don't believe that either of them are willing to relocate, especially Blair Davenport, because she's Will Ospreay's girl. And Will Ospreay, he comes in for AEW every now and then, but he's not living in the United States. He lives over in fucking England. He lives in Japan. So at the end of the day, they're probably looking to stay together across the pond. I have this bad feeling Mandy Rose is going to win. Mandy Rose has pretty much run her course as the NXT Women's Champion. She really has. If I was booking this, I would absolutely give it to Blair Davenport. And I would have Blair Davenport run that fucking division. That right there would be a true reset for NXT. Because right now, there's no one that's really ready. Maybe Zoe Stark is ready, but she recently lost. She reportedly has a concussion. Nikita Lyons is ready. Cora Jade is not ready. Roxanne Perez is not ready. These people are not ready. They're not ready right now. So at the end of the day, there's really not many choices. It's either someone like a Blair Davenport or a Meiko Satomura, because they got the star power, they got the in-ring ability to carry themselves, especially considering that fucking brand needs as much pro wrestling as it could possibly get, because it's the worst brand in WWE right now. And then you got Mandy Rose, who's just kind of there. Her best match was that fatal four-way match at Stand and Deliver, and that's because she didn't really have to carry the load. The Zoe Stark match was okay. The Roxanne Perez match was okay. Mandy Rose has always been okay in the ring, but as of right now, she's really run her course as the women's champion. But I just have a bad feeling she's going to win. Because again, how willing are Meiko and Blair, or anyone from NXT UK, willing to relocate to the US for the time being until NXT Europe comes around? I would go on record and say not many. Maybe a Pretty Deadly. We've seen them on NXT a lot recently. Maybe a Tyler Bate. Maybe a Gallus. But that's a maybe. That's about it. I would go, and that's even stretching it a little bit. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Mandy Rose by default when I take that factor into consideration. I don't want to, because Mandy's time, it's up. It's up. You got to get the title off her sooner rather than later. You need to move on. But at the end of the day, what are the choices there? I'm going to have to go with Mandy.
I mean, I was thinking about, I was agreeing with you too when it came to Blair Davenport. I thought she would be the perfect person to reset that whole division with how talented she is. She's younger. She's a new face you can bring in there. Put her in there as the champion. Make her the dominant force for the new NXT wave that you're trying to bring about there. But I haven't hated Mandy Rose's championship reign. I actually think her gimmick and what Toxic Attraction has been doing, I've actually enjoyed it. I think they come off as a very good gimmick. Sure, Mandy's not great in the ring. We all know that. She's not going to go out there and put on 5-star classics. That's just not who Mandy Rose is. But, I mean, I just figured that eventually it was going to be time where they were going to be getting ready to get called to the main roster. And that eventually
is fine, but Mandy's pretty much been carrying that group. Gigi Dolan and JC Jane are terrible pro wrestlers. And part of that reason is because when Vince and Bruce were still running the show, they booked Toxic Attraction as the main attraction, no pun intended, because they embodied everything that they wanted out of women's wrestling. Big tits, fat ass, OnlyFan, porn star models, like I've said on my show. And when they're booked like that, they do mostly talking.
Nikita Lyons.
They do mostly modeling. Nikita Lyons is better than them. At least Nikita Lyons gets in there and actually fucking wrestles. But those two, how many times have they legitimately wrestled this year? I can only name you about maybe 7, 8 times. And we're sitting on September 1st. Dude, September 1st we are sitting on, and we are 4 months until the end of the year, and we have seen Toxic Attraction, specifically Gigi Dolan and JC Jane, only wrestle about 8, 9 times. I mean, when you only wrestle 8, 9 times, that right there, it goes to show you that you're going to get worse in the ring by default. So they have been positioned in a place in which they are all look and no substance, all talk, no action, and they haven't had a chance to work on their craft. Mandy Rose is pretty much carrying the group from an in-ring standpoint. And in this era of wrestling, if you can't wrestle, get the fuck out of here.
Absolutely, especially nowadays where it's more about in-ring rate than it is more about the gimmick. But
yes.
JC Jane, I think JC Jane's got a little bit better in her wrestling. She's not great, but she's improved a little bit. Still not where you want her to be. I don't know what happened with Gigi Dolan. I thought she was going to be pretty solid. She's going to come in there and add some depth to that women's roster. She's just – a lot of the matches you see, she botches a lot of moves. And you just wonder, like, what is going on with her? Get her back down there to the Performance Center. Get her some more training in the ring. She could be somebody nice to look at if that's what you really want in this new era of wrestling. But, I think Mandy Rose is probably going to win the title too. She's going to keep the title. Just thinking about what you just said, I don't know. I don't think Mika Satomura is going to move her weight over the United States. I think she's going to stay where she is. I think she's comfortable where she is. I just don't believe she's just going to uproot herself all the way back to the United States for a little bit and just stay there. I think she's going to stay where she is. I don't know about Blair Davenport. I really don't know what her, mindset is when it comes to maybe moving over to the United States. I kind of hope she was willing to do that because I think she could be a diamond in that division. But it's really all going to be dependent on if she's willing to do that. Because I think if she is somebody that is willing to take herself and move to the United States, I actually think she might be destined for that. She might be a main roster destination within the year. Because I think she's got that type of talent. I think Triple H is going to look at her, give her a little bit of a run if she stays in the United States as the NXT Women's Champion, and then slowly but surely build her up, getting ready for the main roster. Because I think she's got that type of talent. And the gimmick, I think, is unique too.
I would absolutely give her the championship here.
Absolutely. She's got a unique gimmick, too. I like her gimmick. You don't really have a lot of those types of gimmicks in NXT and wrestling in general, so I think definitely she could be somebody that Triple H is eyeing to throw on the main roster eventually.
Appreciate
I don't know how you feel about that, but I could see it happening. I could see Triple H really looking at that gimmick and be like, you know what? This woman's got something.
I hope so. I really do hope so. I really do hope that Triple H is probably going to talk to her. And if that's the case, I'm absolutely giving Blair Davenport the championship. Now, we got the main event. This is probably the most unpredictable match on the show. We have Tyler Bate and Bron Breakker. Tyler Bate and Bron Breakker. This is for the NXT and the NXT United Kingdom Championships to unify the championships once and for all. They could go either way with this. They could honestly go either way with this. Some people have been saying Bron Breakker. Some people have been saying Tyler Bate. Again, this is all going to depend on if Tyler Bate is willing to relocate to the United States for the time being. Now, we've seen him do it. He has come to the United States for a decent amount of time before. It's all about if he's willing to do that here. Could it be a possibility? Yeah, it could be a possibility. And you know what? Out of everyone, he's probably the one that has the most potential to do it. So that right there throws a little X factor in there. Could we see Tyler Bate unify the championships? Quite possibly. Now, I say that because aside from Carmelo Hayes, the second guy in line that's ready to be called up to the main roster is Bron Breakker. Could he use another year down in NXT? Yes, absolutely. And if I'm Triple H, I'd keep him down there for another year. But I wouldn't be shocked at all if Triple H is eyeing Bron Breakker to get called up to the main roster at some point after NXT Worlds Collide and Labor Day weekend, especially considering that he's got to replenish that roster and he needs to bring up some people to rejuvenate Raw, to rejuvenate SmackDown, to get it back to the place he knows it should fucking be at. It needs to be in a higher position than it is. Now, he's done great. Don't get me wrong. He's done great. Hasn't been the best, but he's put on material that leaps and bounds is better than anything that Vince has ever put on in the last 10 years. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But Triple H knows he needs to step up his game. Triple H knows he needs to work his fucking ass off to get shit back to where it fucking should be. And one of the main steps towards doing that is rejuvenating the roster and getting some fresh blood up there. The one thing that he needs to be careful with, though, you can't overpush Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker right now, I wouldn't say he's ready, but I wouldn't say he's not. He's in the middle right now. I would say give him another 9 months and he'll be completely ready. But right now he's in the middle. So it's a 50-50 shot of him getting called up. The one thing that I said that they can't do, you can't overexpose him, you can't overpush him, you need to take your time with him. Because if you don't, you're looking at another 2015, 2016 Roman Reigns scenario, and you can't do that. You can't fucking do that. That right there will be the death of his fucking career. They're lucky. Vince McMahon is lucky, and everyone was lucky that when they pushed Theory, Theory was already a heel. So you can't really, quote unquote, have go away heat with a heel. But then again, yeah, you can. But in a sense, it'll kind of work in favor of the heel. Now, as far as the match itself goes, Bron Breakker, we've seen him get better with every single passing match. Every single passing match, we have seen Bron Breakker improve week after week after week after week. Bron Breakker right now is probably the best that he's been in-ring-wise. His match with Grimes, and then you got the match with JD McDonough, and then you got the match with Tyler Bate. I do believe that Tyler Bate is going to bring Bron Breakker to his best match, period. Who's going to win? I don't know. Some people have called Tyler Bate, some people have called Bron Breakker. If Tyler Bate is willing to stay in the United States for the time being, we could very well see Tyler Bate win the NXT Championship. And you know what? I wouldn't mind that at all. Because again, that would be a true reset for NXT and a true reset for the main roster by having Bron Breakker go up to the main roster. So it's a possibility. I don't know. I can't really give you a straightforward answer, but you know what? I'm actually going to go with a shot in the dark here. I actually think that Tyler Bate might very well come out victorious here. I'm going to hang my hat on Tyler Bate in this match. Now, could I be wrong? Yeah. Could I be wrong? Possibly. But if you're looking for a reset, that's your fucking reset right there. And rejuvenation to the main roster, Bron Breakker could be a part of that process. Put him on SmackDown. Let me hear it.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems with Bron Breakker that he needs to work on his mic skills. because right now he's coming off way too robotic in his promos. It's just not coming off authentic. It's not coming off organically at all. He feels forced sometimes when he talks on the mic. So I think that's the one thing that he needs to work on. I actually would hope that eventually he turns heel, because I think he'd be a fantastic heel with, like, you know, his size, the ability he could just wreck people out of nowhere. I think I think the mic work would come off better with him as a heel than a face. In terms of the matchups, I think I'm going to go with Tyler Bate too, because of the fact that I think if you really want to have a true reset with NXT, there's your guy. Bron Breakker has pretty much been dominating NXT since he came into the brand months ago. And I think if you really want to establish Tyler Bate as the guy in this new version of NXT you want to start up, get the title on him, slowly start getting Bron Breakker ready to elevate him to the main roster, Raw, SmackDown, whatever it is. But if you really want to get this new NXT kicked off in the direction that Triple H is looking to get it kicked off in, throw the title on Tyler Bate. Of course, you're right. Got to see if he's going to be willing to move to the United States fully. But I think, honestly, that's the best move that you could do, because I really believe Bron Breakker is main roster bound in the near future. We've already seen him on the main roster before. I think his look is perfect for the main roster. His size is perfect for the main roster. I think he's a guy that Triple H is definitely eyeing as somebody he wants to throw on that main roster and slowly build up. And I agree. Do not push Bron Breakker too fast, or this guy is going to be hated by the fan base faster than even Roman Reigns was. You have to do that. You have to make this guy just feel – you have to organically build him up. That's what you have to do, and I think the best move right now, get that title on Tyler Bate, get Bron Breakker ready to move up to the main roster within the next couple of months.
Yeah. It looks like we could very well be all these predictions right across the board here. So that's definitely something that I'm already liking it. So this is definitely going to be a prelude to what we're going to see come Monday with me and Jeffrey Turner. You guys are definitely going to be in for a treat. You guys are absolutely going to be in for a treat. So I hope you guys are enjoying the stream. We got one last show to go over, 6 more matches to go over thus far for Clash at the Castle. And we are going to get right into that. Yeah, we're going to get right into that.
I cannot wait for this pay-per-view. This is probably the most exciting pay-per-view I've been looking forward to all weekend. And that's crazy to say, but I cannot wait for Clash at the Castle. I'm ecstatic.
I mean, if I'm going to go based off of my excitement, All Out's number 1, Clash at the Castle's number 2. But it's still going to be a great show. We got a week full of great professional wrestling. So this show, we're going to get a lot of good matches on this show. 3 matches in particular I'm really looking forward to. So we're going to see how everything plays out. But once again, people, hope you guys are enjoying the stream. Please make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, and please make sure that you are sharing out the stream on all platforms of social media, including Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok. Getting everyone in the chat as possible. Let's get some more people in here. Jeff, you got to tell your crew, get some people in here. We need some more people.
They're being shy. They're being shy. They don't want to
have fun. They are being shy.
They're being shy. Well, Mitch was just here before, and then he just went away.
You know what it is? You know what it is? It's the fact that it's not Saturday. Saturdays are my day. I own Saturdays. Other days, they're okay, but Saturdays are my fucking day, dude. And I mean it.
Damn right.
They're my day. You know that. And when it's
Saturday, I definitely know all about that.
You know what that fucking means. I'm live and I'm owning the fucking IWC on Saturdays. I hope you're gonna be joining me for the morning stream, because we go on live before Clash of the Castle.
Oh, most definitely, I'll be there. I'll make sure I'll be there in the chat there to support you while you go over the Clash of the Castle preview for the show. I know you said All Out is the pay-per-view you're looking forward to. For me, it is Clash of the Castle. I am ecstatic because of the build for some of these matches, the way they've been building it up. I cannot wait for this pay-per-view.
Well, let's talk about it actually. Let's talk about Gunther, or Gunther, as he calls it himself. Gunther and Sheamus. This is for the Intercontinental Championship. You know, a lot of people say that this is predictable. But I'm actually going to say it's not. It's actually unpredictable. And I'll tell you why. The main event is more predictable than this match, actually, because it seems all but confirmed, and we'll talk about it later, that Drew McIntyre is taking that championship from Roman Reigns. But as far as this match goes, first off, it's going to be a fucking war. First of all, it's going to be an absolute hard-hitting barn fucking burner of a match. It is going to be an absolute classic in terms of violence. These two are going to beat the fucking shit out of each other. If you're looking at top 3 dream matches that I want to see Gunther have, Drew is up there, Brock Lesnar's up there, and then Sheamus is up there. Only because of how hard these guys can hit. Sheamus ages like a fine fucking wine. And I'm going to say this right now. Sheamus is going to go down as the greatest Irish wrestler of the modern era, maybe even in history. He may go down as the greatest Irish wrestler in history. The guy's legitimately done everything. Everything. And you know what? I do believe that one day he will be Intercontinental Champion. It could be this Saturday. And I say that there's potential for Sheamus to beat Gunther because it's all but confirmed McIntyre's beating Roman. And, dude, if he comes out to Broken Dreams, if we hear that, if we hear Out of Time, So Say Goodbye, he's fucking Claymoreing Roman's head into the 8th row.
I think he is. I think he's coming out to that.
You're going to need challengers for Drew. I would not be shocked if they take the title off of Gunther to make him one of the top-tier challengers for Drew in the interim. Because I don't believe Drew's going to hold that championship past the Rumble. I do believe that Drew's going to lose that title at the Rumble when the time is right, and he's going to drop it to Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins and Cody are going to finish up their program.
Yeah.
But very unpredictable here. I honestly don't know who to choose. I honestly don't know who to choose. I'm just excited for the fucking match. This is probably the number 2 match I'm looking forward to the most. Now, but if you got to put a gun to my head, I'm going to have to go with Gunther. Triple H, he is a mark for Gunther. Gunther is a Triple H individual, and with how dominant his NXT UK championship reign was, I'm telling you, Gunther could very well hold that Intercontinental Championship for a year plus. So I'm going with Gunther to retain the championship here. Floor's yours.
Well, I mean, out of all the matchups over this weekend, just in the wrestling weekend in general, this match between Gunther and Sheamus is going to be one of the best old school style matchups that you're going to get. These two, like you said, are going to beat the living hell out of each other. There's going to be chops. There's going to be big kicks. There's going to be mule kicks. These guys are going to go out there and put on a 10 to 15 minute matchup where they're going to beat the living hell out of each other, and that crowd is going to be going nuts over there at the Castle with how intense, hard-hitting, and physical this matchup is going to be. But actually, I'm actually going to disagree with you on this one. I think Sheamus is going to become the new Intercontinental Champion because of the fact that they are in his area. The fact that they have been saying this entire time, Sheamus has never become the Intercontinental Champion in his entire career, and that's one of the accolades that he is missing in his career. And because of the fact that you just mentioned, which is true, Drew McIntyre is going to need some opponents eventually for that world title going into the fall and winter months. And what better way to get Sheamus one of the most incredible pops in his area, in his home country, than give him that IC title? So I'm actually going to go with Sheamus to pull up the shocking win and beat Gunther and hold that championship, that IC title high at the end of that matchup, which I think is going to be one of the best matchups, not only at Clash at the Castle, but in the entire wrestling weekend.
All right, we might have to put some money on that. We might have to put some fucking money on that. It's going to be a very interesting bet right there. So that's the first one where we're actually conflicting. That should be very interesting. Let's actually move on to one match that I have a feeling should be a no-brainer here. Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Liv Morgan, we all love Liv Morgan. We were all happy for Liv Morgan, but at the end of the day, Liv Morgan was pretty much depicted as a fucking jobber by the time she beat Ronda Rousey. Why did Liv Morgan get booed? Why has she been getting these lukewarm reactions? Triple H, I said it once before on my show, Triple H had no fucking choice but to book the ending that he booked at SummerSlam between her and Ronda Rousey to keep both women looking strong. But at the end of the day, it was a shot in the foot for Liv Morgan because by that time, Liv Morgan was already depicted as nothing more than an undercard scrub, a glorified enhancement talent. Did you know that she legitimately lost every pay-per-view match this year before she beat Ronda Rousey to win the championship? Then she was given the opportunity at SummerSlam to showcase why she fucking deserves to be the SmackDown Women's Champion. And what does she do? She taps out. So at the end of the day, all it tells us is that Liv Morgan is nothing more than a one-hit wonder. She's nothing more than an individual that just happened to win the championship out of sheer luck. So Shayna Baszler needs to win that fucking title. If Shayna Baszler does not win that fucking title, it is not going to go over well. Shayna needs to win the title, and if I'm looking into the future, I'm looking at Survivor Series to be a big fucking show with Shayna versus Ronda for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and I'm building up Shayna as the next top-tier fucking monster. I really am. I'm building her up as the next top-tier fucking monster in the SmackDown Women's division. And if I was Triple H, I'd get rid of the Women's Tag Team Championships. You want to have two Women's Championships? Fine. Keep the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship and do that. You can easily do that. But if I'm booking this, I am absolutely giving that championship to Shayna Baszler. No fucking questions asked. If it's not, big fucking mistake. And I mean big fucking mistake.
I mean, I would actually take it a step further than what you said. Not only does Shayna need to win that match, she needs to annihilate, destroy, and pretty much win that match. She needs to take out Liv Morgan and win that match convincingly. Everything that they've done with Liv Morgan, and we all love Liv Morgan, Jersey proud, she is just that type of person where she's the underdog, the bubbly face, baby face, you can do it for the fans. You know you're like one of us. You're one of those people that we knew you could do it. We're excited for you when you finally win the big one. But the fact of the matter is, she's going against Shayna Baszler, who finally, after all this time, is looking like the Shayna Baszler that was an absolute marksman back in the NXT when she dominated that brand. And it has to go down right now. This is your perfect opportunity to correct one of the worst mistakes that WWE made a couple of years ago when they had her not win that championship against Becky Lynch. This is your opportunity.
That, dude. I'm still pissed with that.
It was a joke why that did not happen. That was Shayna Baszler's opportunity right there to put her over as the most dominant woman on that brand. This is your opportunity right now against a Liv Morgan that is not only nowhere near the caliber of Shayna Baszler, she's walking around with a brace on her arm because of what Baszler and Ronda Rousey did to her. She needs to go out there, and I would have this match be sheer dominance. Pretty much have Shayna Baszler go out there and destroy Liv Morgan in 2 or 3 minutes and win that title decisively. And that's how you make Shayna Baszler look like an absolute monster like she should have been a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you're going to have to. You're going to have to because right now, this Liv Morgan, the Liv Morgan that's been booked like a scrub, and that's not Triple H's fault. That's Vince McMahon's fault. The damage was already done. It's going to take years to repair Liv Morgan after what Vince did to her. How many matches with Carmella do we have to sit and endure? How many losses to Becky Lynch? She is a scrub, and it's not her fault. I love Liv Morgan, but she's a scrub. So they need to replenish her. And it starts by getting that fucking title off of her and giving it to fucking Shayna Baszler. So we're on the same page in that.
I mean, if Shayna Baszler does not win this match, there is I don't know what happened to Triple H, but that would be one of the dumbest creative decisions you could make in a long time. There's no reason whatsoever why Shayna Baszler should not win this title Saturday. Period. That's it. No other discussion. It's Shayna's title. No other reason. Don't give us some BS reason like they did with Ronda Rousey to have Liv Morgan somehow fluke-like keep that title. It's not going to go over well, like you said. The crowd will hate it. The crowd will be all over it, just like they were after the whole Ronda Rousey debacle. You have to make Shayna Baszler win, and you have to make her win decisively. It's the only outcome that makes sense.
Cross our fingers there, man. Cross our fingers. I'll tell you what match could very well be the show stealer right here. Matt Riddle, who has his first name back.
Goosebumps
Matt
when you think of this.
Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins. This feud has definitely been one of the most intriguing things about WWE TV just because of how intense they've made it in such a short amount of time. Very, very, very good decision by Triple H to not do this match on SummerSlam. And now listen, it would have made SummerSlam even better than it was. If they would have put this match on SummerSlam, it would have made SummerSlam even better. And SummerSlam was a very good show. It would have probably brought SummerSlam up from a 6.5, a 7 to an 8. But he didn't want to do that. He wanted to give it more of a story. And you know what? That's exactly what we got. And in the end, it's going to fucking pay off. People are fucking excited for this match, and people want to see these two go in there and steal the fucking show. And if I'm booking this, it's either this match or the IC title match that should kick off the show. I won't be surprised if this match kicks off the show. This is going to be a great fucking match. And if I'm booking this, I would absolutely give a win to Matt Riddle. Absolutely. Matt Riddle needs this win. Rollins does not need it. Rollins is pretty much a made man. Rollins could legitimately retire tomorrow, and he would go into the Hall of Fame. There's actually a small part of me that actually wants to see Rollins jump ship to AEW just to see what he could do with Tony Khan. But at the end of the day, I know it's not going to happen because Rollins is a WWE dick rider through and through. I still love him, but he's a WWE dick rider. I do believe that Matt Riddle, he's waiting in the wings. He's going to have his moment, and this is going to be the start of his big moment. Matt Riddle needs this win. He needs a big, decisive win, singles-wise. He's had a lot of tag team success with Randy Orton. He had a small little reign as U.S. champion. But at the end of the day, this is going to be his big, major statement win. In front of 70,000 people, this is Matt Riddle's moment. It's going to be a fucking classic. Going to be a fucking barn burner. Matt Riddle is the right winner here. Now, could this continue into the next show? Maybe. Quite possibly. And you know what? I wouldn't be mad if it does. I wouldn't be mad at all if it does. But I got Matt Riddle taking the win here. Everything lays out perfectly for Matt Riddle to get the win because Rollins has been getting the upper hand over Matt Riddle almost every single time that they clash on Monday Night Raw. So I'm taking Matt Riddle in this one. Jeff?
Well, I got a hot take for you right now on your show. I'm actually going to say right now, this is going to be the best matchup, not only at Clash of the Castle, but this entire wrestling weekend. I have that high expectations for Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins. I think it's going to happen with the way these two can work in that ring and the storyline that they have been building. And the fact they did not blow this off too quickly at SummerSlam, which I'm thrilled they didn't, because now it just makes the match even feel that much more important and it gets the fans that much more exciting. I really believe that this is going to be the best match of the weekend. And I think it just kicked up 10 notches even more after that promo that they had on Monday. And if you are a wrestling fan and you did not get jacked up and excited after that promo, I don't know what's wrong with you. That was one of the best promos that WWE has put on in a long time. How real it felt. The fact they added that real life tension of how those two feel about each other. That last 50 seconds to a minute of how real it felt. I got goosebumps. I got chills from how good that was. And it just turned that match from a great match that's going to happen to maybe a match of the year at the end of this year.
It could be match of the year.
I think these two are going to go out there and they're going to put on a 15 to 20 minute classic with how good these two are going to go in the ring. You're going to feel that real life tension that they have for each other, that real life animosity between these two. And I cannot wait to see these two just go in there, put on a wrestling classic, even beat the living shit out of each other. I can't wait. This is the match, I think, that is going to be the one that everybody, not only WWE, AEW, every wrestling fan is going to be talking about after this week and be like, holy shit, did you just see Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins, what they did? That's how high I am in this match. I think this match is going to be phenomenal. I think it's going to be the best match of the entire show. And I still believe, my hot take, it's going to be the best match of the entire wrestling weekend.
Now, who wins?
I'm going to pick, I actually believe, I agree with you. I think Matt Riddle needs this win more. And I think it just makes more sense to continue to build up Matt Riddle until eventually he's going to get to that, main event scene where he's going to become a champion eventually. I think we all know that I think the opportunity was there at Money in the Bank. He should have been that guy that should have captured that briefcase. We all know the reason why Theory got it, because he's Vince McMahon's guy. But I think that this is going to be one of those matches that's going to continue to catapult up Matt Riddle to that main event scene. Unpopular Opinion Sports, what's going on, my man?
How you doing, man? If you want to stop in, give some takes before we sign off, because we're currently going over Clash at the Castle. You're more than welcome to stop in. He's a part of Hardcore Sports, ain't that right?
He actually is part of a group called the Big Blue Crew. He's more of like he does a lot of New York Football Giants stuff. He does baseball stuff. He comes up with like these very unpopular opinions that nobody really thinks about, but he's got one of the best channels out there. He'll give you takes that nobody out there in the football, baseball, basketball community won't even dare to say. And it's fantastic.
Well, he's a Giants fan, so he's good in my book.
Oh, absolutely.
So from there, let's actually go into the 6-women tag team match here. We got Bianca Belair. Actually, you know what? Let me ask you this question. Before we get into the 6-women tag team match, does Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins continue their feud afterwards going into Extreme Rules?
Yes, because I think that this is going to be just the first match of a couple, and especially with the fact how personal they made this rivalry now, I really believe, especially when you have Extreme Rules and you know a gimmick is going to be involved, there's going to be some type of big-time gimmick match with these two. Maybe a steel cage, falls count anywhere, I quit match, last man standing. There's going to be some type of gimmick that's going to follow through with this feud, because I do not see this just being a one-match feud and then just clear it to the side. I think this is definitely going to be continuing after this pay-per-view, and who knows? We could get some type of screwy finish with, like, maybe Seth Rollins gets some type of some type of sneaky win to beat Matt Riddle, and then eventually we go into Extreme Rules, and that's how Matt Riddle gets his win back at Extreme Rules. I could see it happening to continue the feud, but yeah, I believe this feud is definitely continuing after this pay-per-view on Saturday.
So now we got the 6-women tag team match. It is Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka versus Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. I'm actually glad that they did this, mainly because of the fact that Bayley getting a championship opportunity against Bianca Belair this early after she came back, it wouldn't make no sense, because Triple H, he's very into that strategy of wins and losses really mattering, and wins and losses really being the deciding factor on when you get a championship match and when you don't get a championship match. So I do believe that this is a nice interim match for the time being, and then at Extreme Rules, we're inevitably going to get Bayley versus Bianca Belair in some sort of stipulation match for the women's championship. Now, I actually have Bayley and her crew winning this, just to establish them as top-tier individuals, and I would absolutely have Alexa Bliss take the pin here with Bayley getting the win, specifically because of the fact that Bayley is clearly the next in line for the women's championship. I actually think Bayley's going to take that title off of Bianca Belair, and I say that because we are inevitably building towards Bayley and Sasha at WrestleMania, and you know for a fucking fact, that Triple H has wanted this match at WrestleMania, Bayley and Sasha for the women's championship. Why? Because of what they did at TakeOver Brooklyn 1. Yep. Vince never did it. Vince never did it because he knew that if he took 2 Triple H women who put on the match of the year, the greatest women's match in professional wrestling history of all time at TakeOver Brooklyn 1, you know, if Vince did that, knowing where they came from, knowing who created them, knowing who made them into stars, put it at WrestleMania on his show, his fucking creation, he would look like a fucking amateur. He would look like a fucking independent, bottom-of-the-barrel promoter, and Triple H would be heralded as a fucking god. That's why he never did it. Now he's gone. Now Triple H has the opportunity to do that. Bayley is absolutely taking that title from Bianca at Extreme Rules, and we are absolutely staring down the line of Sasha Banks coming back, winning the Rumble, and we get that match at WrestleMania 39 with Sasha Banks inevitably taking the win. That's how I see it playing out. But it all starts with this match. I think this should be a decent little match, probably the best women's match on the entire show. This is absolutely going to outdo Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler. No doubt about it.
Going to run circles around that other match.
Clear as day. I mean, you got Io, Bianca, Dakota, Bayley, and Asuka. So at the end of the day, those 5 women, it is an absolute recipe for success. Even Alexa Bliss, she's a little blip on the page. She sucks, but there's no way that the other 5 are going to equally suck like Alexa Bliss. The other 5 are 5 of the best in the world when it comes to women's wrestling right now. I got Bayley and her crew taking control here, no pun intended. And I got Bayley inevitably going forward to take the championship off of Bianca. And then I do believe we could very well be staring down a women's War Games at Survivor Series. I do believe that with Raquel and Aaliyah winning the women's tag team titles, even though it was a stupid fucking decision.
I was actually going to ask you about that. I was going to literally say, what do you think?
Absolutely. I agree. But here's something you need to remember. Dakota was pinned. She was the illegal woman. That could very well lead to another match down the line, which I believe is the case. And with Raquel and Aaliyah winning, they could tag team with Alexa, Asuka, and Bianca. 5 women right there. You got Bayley, Dakota, and Io. They could recruit Sasha and Naomi to come back. And we got 5 versus 5 inside of a women's War Games at Survivor Series. That's what I'm looking at. I hope so. Cross our fingers there.
That would be awesome if you get something like that. I mean, there's no other result that makes sense here. Asuka is already a made woman. I mean, she's already one of the greatest of all time in WWE. She doesn't need the win. Bianca's the champion. She's obviously not going to get pinned. I mean, she's okay. Alexa Bliss is just pretty much there to take the pin. The other 3 need the win. Io and Dakota are continuing to get established right now on the main roster. So you need to get them that win on that side. And I agree with Bayley. Bayley has to be the one to get the pin on Alexa Bliss. It's the only outcome that somewhat makes sense. Maybe you could have one of like Io or Dakota take the pin on Alexa Bliss, but the only reason why Bliss is in that matchup is to take the pin. It would make no sense to pin Asuka. It would 1,000% make no sense to pin Bianca Belair. That'd be stupid. And it would make no sense, obviously, to pin the other 3. I actually think that that's the route, like you said, that's definitely the route that we're going to go on. I originally thought it was going to be Rhea Ripley that was going to take the title away from Bianca Belair and become the Raw Women's Champion, especially the way they've been booking her with the Judgment Day. But obviously there's other plans going on with her, so I think it is going to be Sasha Banks eventually becoming, the women's champion at WrestleMania, taking on Bayley, which is the matchup that we should have had a couple of years ago. But yeah, there's no other outcome that makes sense right now than Bayley, Io, and Dakota coming out as the victors in this 6-woman match.
Clear as day. When do we see Dakota and Io inevitably take the women's tag team titles from Raquel and Aaliyah? Is it going to be before or after Survivor Series?
I think it's going to be before. I would not even be shocked if they try to book this match as soon as possible, because the fan outrage was absolutely insane. They're just still wondering how the hell they had this decision go down. And I mean, I understand if people like Aaliyah. She's a nice, bubbly face. Everybody, she's easily one of those people like a Liv Morgan that you could get behind if you like the underdogs.
In terms of physical appearances, Aaliyah would absolutely be my girl. In terms of physical appearances, I got no problem tapping that. But in terms of wrestling, I mean,
she sucks.
She sucks.
She's when I watch her in the ring, it's
Raquel's actually doing a hell of a lot better than we thought on the main roster. So props to Raquel. She's fucking carrying these matches with Aaliyah like we've never fucking seen.
Well, that's what I thought was originally going to happen, is they were going to try to maybe rehash the whole Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley storyline that they were originally trying to go to, have like the out of nowhere tag team in the women's division, win the title somehow, and then eventually you're going to have the Monster Woman, Rhea Ripley, and in this case, Raquel Rodriguez, eventually, turn on Aaliyah because she's not holding her weight. I don't understand why that happened. I would try to get the rematch as soon as possible and get those titles the hell off of Raquel and Aaliyah, and eventually build to Raquel turning heel, because I'm tired of this. One thing I've noticed, I'm tired of seeing Raquel smiling to the ring all the time. I'm tired of it. No more
She's
smiling.
Like the female Finn Balor.
It's true, yeah. And if we say that with Ronda Rousey when she's coming to the ring, I don't want to see smiling with somebody like Raquel Rodriguez. Come out there, look like a badass when you're coming to the ring. No more smiling. I'm sick of it. Come out there and destroy your competition. That's what you want Raquel Rodriguez to do. And Aaliyah, bless her heart, she's lovable character. Everybody, she sucks in the ring. I don't want to see her in the ring anymore. God forbid. Please get those titles off.
Canada produces some fine fucking women in terms of
she ain't one of them. Looks-wise,
like I
yes.
said, produce some fine fucking women in terms of looks. I haven't really seen a good women's wrestler come out of Canada since Trish.
I was going to say, Trish is the only one. And I mean,
Natalia's
the best
okay, but still.
I still wonder why. As much as Natalia's a great wrestler, please just get her out of the main storylines. Enough with Natalya. I'd rather see a Shotzi or a Xia Li or some of these other women get an opportunity than Natalya. Please, God forbid. I know I'm going a little bit of a tangent.
Have more charisma than her.
Oh, God. Shotzi Blackheart is easily one of the most charismatic women on that roster, and I think she should get a push. She's a Triple H girl, too. Get her that tank back. I would turn her back as a babyface, and I would get Shotzi Blackheart back to a role that please give her her last name back. I'm tired of calling her Shotzi, too. Give her her last name back. Give her back her tank, her personality.
We'll get it in due time. Patience.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm sorry I'm going on a rant, but I mean, Jesus.
We got Matt Riddle's first name back. We got Theory's first name back. We're going to get it.
Can we get Ciampa's first name back, too?
We're going to get Ciampa's first name back, too. Gargano came in just as Johnny Gargano. We'll get it. It's a slow process.
Absolutely. It's just the little things that aggravate you as a wrestling fan all this time.
One thing that hasn't been aggravating me, though, is this storyline between the Judgment Day, the Mysterios, and Edge. The last month, they've really turned this shit up and made this perhaps into one of the most interesting things on, maybe the most interesting thing on Raw. Edge and Rey Mysterio's taking on the Judgment Day. In terms of an in-ring standpoint, I don't got any complaints about this match in terms of an in-ring standpoint. The matches that we've gotten between all of four of these men, the Mysterios and the Judgment Day back at SummerSlam, very good match. We had Damian Priest and Edge. That was a pay-per-view level matchup. That could have been a WWE Championship match if they.
That match was phenomenal.
Great match with Mysterio and Balor. A lot of good stuff. Now, the X factor in this is Dominic. The X factor in this is Dominic Mysterio. Before we even go into predictions and anything like that, we know it's going to be a good match. We know it's going to be solid. Edge is great. Mysterio is great. Priest is great. Balor's great. First off, I'm really loving how the Judgment Day has come into their own. The Judgment Day is really solid. Now, are they main event worthy? Not just yet. The way that they're being booked right now and how good they're being booked makes me wish that Edge was still in the group. It honestly makes me wish Edge was still in the group and they never kicked him out. Because Edge was going to be that guy that was going to take him to the next level. But, I like what the Judgment Day are doing. Finn Balor's on TV winning matches. Damian Priest is on TV winning matches. Rhea Ripley is the best that she's looked on the main roster. Edge and Mysterio are putting on great matches with them. So I don't really have any complaints as far as that goes. Now, what happens as far as Dominic goes? Do you see Dominic inevitably turning? Now, I'm not sure how well it's going to come off, but I like the vibe with Dominic and Rhea Ripley. I like that vibe with Dominic and Rhea Ripley, and to a certain extent, I'm genuinely excited to see if he turns or not.
I mean, first off, I just want to ask you real quick. Do you think that the Judgment Day, as great as they've looked recently, do you think they still lack a little bit of a leader? As much as we love Finn Balor, and I think Damian Priest is fantastic, do you still think they need that true leader in that group that Edge would have represented? Or do you think Finn Balor is still doing a good job as that leader right now?
A lot of people say that Rhea Ripley's the leader. So,
you know what? You got a point there. I think that is. I think she comes off as the leader in that group.
I'm not complaining as far as that goes. I say that there's a difference between the Judgment Day and Hit Row. Hit Row is tag team mid-card for life. They're tag team mid-card for life. But you take a look at Balor, Priest, and Ripley, you could plug any three of those into any storyline, and they are as versatile as you can get. Priest, you want him to be a U.S. champion? You want Balor to be a U.S. champion? You got it. You want them to be Intercontinental champion? You got it. You want them to be tag team champions? You got it. You want Rhea to be women's champion? You got it. You want Balor to fight for a world title and help put someone over, give him a great match. Same thing with Priest. You got it. The Judgment Day right now is as versatile as you can get. But yes, I would like a leader. I would have liked Edge to still remain in the group, because it would have given that group an even bigger feel, and we could have possibly been looking down the barrel of a War Games match with the Judgment Day in there with Edge leading the group. Maybe even Ciampa could have been a part of the Judgment Day.
Oh,
That is
man.
one thing that I would have loved to have seen. But I don't mind the Judgment Day. I like what they're doing. And Triple H has made me interested in what they're doing. Now, does Dominic turn?
I actually think he's going to turn because they planted the seeds very well, especially that backstage interview before, like after the whole Kurt Angle and Edge thing. That was freaking hilarious, the way they rehashed what happened 20 years ago. But I think Dominic is going to turn with the fact that he was looking at his father after Rey Mysterio pretty much picked Edge to be his partner instead of his own son. I think that planted the little seeds in there that we're going to get the turn at Clash of the Castle. And I think that's obviously going to help out the Judgment Day even become a stronger faction going into the future. I think it's the one thing that makes sense. The Judgment Day's got to win. And I think the reason why they're going to win that match is because Dominic Mysterio is going to turn on his father and cost them the match and join the Judgment Day by Night's End. I think it would be an awesome little swerve to throw in there, even though we all know it's coming. It's just of when it's actually going to happen. Can they maybe hold it off a little bit longer? Sure. But eventually, you have to like strike when that iron is hot. And I think the iron is right now as hot as you can get it in terms of a turn. This is your opportunity right here. Have the turn happen at Clash at the Castle. And have Dominic align with the Judgment Day and have him cost his father and Edge that win at the match.
And that's a solid win. That's a solid win for the Judgment Day too, because that right there, that puts the Judgment Day in a position where they've already beaten the Mysterios 2-on-2. Now they can beat them. Now they can beat Edge and Rey Mysterio, two big legends. 2-on-2.
Would you have Edge or Mysterio get pinned if you had to pick?
I honestly think that it's going to be. I don't know. See, there's different ways that they can go about this. It doesn't have to be a full-blown turn. We could have Dominic go for a swing on someone in the Judgment Day, and he accidentally hits Edge, allowing the Judgment Day to win, and they could play it off as an accident, and then Dominic can turn at a later date, or Dominic can strike his father. They could go.
That's actually a good point. They teased a little bit in a backstage of Dominic and Edge having a little bit of tension between one another. Yes. That could be a way to even build it up even more between the two of them, and then actually lead to the turn happening a little bit later. Maybe not as Survivor Series, but a little bit later. Maybe it could happen at Extreme Rules. You never know. But I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening. And then maybe a Damian Priest, or actually I would have Finn Balor. If I had to book this, I would have Finn Balor pin Edge.
Yes. You know what? I want to see that match. I want to see that match.
Me too.
I would. Here's what I would love. I would love if they want to do this. I would love to see Finn Balor and Edge at Extreme Rules.
I'll take my money if that's the case.
Just give me that match. You already gave me Edge and Priest. Give me Edge and Balor. If there's one match I want to see before Edge retires, it's Edge and Balor.
Can you imagine that match will tear down the house too? You want to throw Edge and Balor in there? It's good. Oh my God. Oh, take my money.
I got the Judgment Day winning this no matter what. I feel as though it's going to happen. Judgment Day is going to win this.
Me too. I think the Judgment Day's clearly got to win this. There's no reason why Edge and Mysterio need to win this match. They're already established. Keep getting more wins for Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Build them up even stronger until eventually they might have another match leading down the road. But yeah, there's nothing else that makes sense than having the Judgment Day win this.
If I'm going to book Judgment Day, KO and Sammy win the tag titles from the Usos. I'm building up the Judgment Day to take the titles off them when the time's right. I'm building up them.
That happening.
I can absolutely building up them. All right, this is what we've been leading to. Main event right here. Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre for the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship. This is it, man. It's got to be. It's got to be Drew. I don't think he's the right guy, but at the end of the day, there's no one else. If Cody wasn't injured, I'd say Cody. But this is.
I have one in mind. What about Karrion Kross? What's his role?
Karrion Kross
is that wild card.
Karrion Kross does not need the championship. If I'm booking this, I'm booking Karrion Kross versus Roman Reigns 1-on-1 at Survivor Series without the title. Kross does not need to challenge for the world title yet. He should be challenging for the world championship in 2024 for WrestleMania 40.
There have been some rumors, though, that they were thinking about maybe splitting those titles up and giving one of them to Karrion Kross because the USA Network, I believe, wanted one of those championships on Monday Night Raw exclusively. So you have to wonder. Drew has to win. That's the truth. There's no reason now. Roman Reigns, they're having this big 2-year celebration. They're pretty much going over how Roman Reigns is the god, 2 years as champion, over 700 days. The fact that they're doing that, it makes no sense. You're in Drew's home country. You're pretty much giving him back his old music because we're going to hear his old entrance theme. There's no way he's going to be teasing it this much.
That should be permanent going forward.
Oh, I agree. I think his old theme is fantastic. As much as I like his new theme, I think the old theme would fit him perfectly. I think the crowd is going to erupt when they hear that. But there's no reason at all for Roman Reigns to win this match. It has to be Drew. It would just come off really stupid and illogical if you're not going to have Drew McIntyre get this major win and pretty much say thank you for all you did during the pandemic era. And this is a way we're going to repay you by giving you a Heroes title win against the man that was champion for over 2 years, 700 plus days, dominating the WWE for that time. We're going to have you win the championship, take him down, and win it in your home country. It just made it. Everything is aligned so much for Drew McIntyre to have that moment, and it's the only logical booking that makes sense. And the question is, after that, what's going to happen with Karrion Kross? How is he going to throw his nose into this whole thing? Maybe not a title match
for the world title yet. If anything, I would not split the titles up. There needs to be one world champion. If you want to keep 2 titles, you can keep the 2 women's titles. I'll leave it at that. If you want to do what AEW is doing with 2 singles women's championships, keep the Raw and SmackDown women's championships. Make them the 2 exclusive brand women's championships. And that's it.
Yeah.
But as far as the world title goes, there needs to be one world title. One world title. And at the end of it all, Drew wins. Karrion Kross, he doesn't need to challenge for the world title yet. Karrion Kross can fight Roman at Survivor Series. If they want to, he can fight a Brock Lesnar at day 1 because Lesnar's reportedly coming back at day 1. And then after Drew loses the title, he can fight Drew in a non-title match at WrestleMania next year. But as far as Drew goes, he's going to hold that title until the Rumble. Rollins wins the Rumble. Not Rollins. Rollins wins the championship. And on the same night, Cody returns at number 30, and Cody inevitably wins the Rumble. We got Rollins and Cody, wraps up that storyline, and Cody wins the world championship. And then Austin Theory can cash in, be a prick, and then Cody can win the title back at SummerSlam that year. But that's how I'm looking at it. Kross does not need the world championship now. But I do believe we will see a Kross and McIntyre match down the line, but it's going to be a long build. That's a WrestleMania match.
Now, do you think that the Usos are going to have any type of factor in this championship match? And do you think
they could? Yes.
Because of the fact we're getting Kevin Owens and the Sami Zayn, seems like that alliance is happening soon. Do you think we might see – do you think they might tease it a little bit this Friday and maybe have them come out and pretty much eliminate the Usos from the matchup? Like, that's the whole dynamic. That's like the one thing that you're thinking about too. What are the Usos going to do? And is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who have no match right now, are they going to have some type of reuniting on SmackDown? And are they going to play a factor in this championship match to help Drew McIntyre win this title?
Quite a possibility. It is definitely quite a possibility, and I definitely would not put it past them to do something like that. And if they do, good on them. Good on them. I'm definitely looking forward to this overall. But in the end, no matter what happens, whether it be the Usos, whether it be Owens, whether it be Sammy, Drew needs to win. This is Drew's moment, especially if he comes out to Broken Dreams.
It would make no sense. You want to piss off if Triple H wants to make Roman Reigns the biggest heel ever, have Drew McIntyre lose that match because the crowd is going to go absolutely ape shit nuts on Triple H and Roman Reigns overall if somehow Drew McIntyre does not win that title. It has to happen. There's no other logical booking that makes sense. Even if you try to do like some type of screwy finish, Roman Reigns has got to lose. What else does Roman Reigns seriously need to do?
You got to get those titles off of him.
Exactly. His gimmick is gone stale. He's been champion over 700 days. He's been champion over 2 years. It's time to let somebody else take over the reins, no pun intended, and have Drew McIntyre become the guy in that company right now. It has to happen. It makes no sense not to do it.
That wraps up everything. That's all we got for you. That wraps up this edition of The Rundown for Worlds Collide and Clash at the Castle. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to watch. And thank you, Jeffrey, for stopping by on this open table night. Please do not forget, people, like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description. On Saturday, early stream, LFU at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time before Clash at the Castle. On Sunday at 1 p.m., rewind for Clash at the Castle with Nick Fury. And, of course, on Monday, this guy right over here is going to be on my channel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for the rewind for Worlds Collide and All Out. Lots of good stuff, and we're going to end summer on the highest of highs. Once again, Jeffrey, thank you. And before we get out of here, where can we find you on social media?
Well, first off, I appreciate you allowing me on your platform. I think you're one of the most underrated wrestling content creators out there. I love your energy. You bring it every single day, every single night. There's a reason why you have a huge following behind you. And in terms of me, you can catch me over at NYGJeffyT3285. I cover the WWE news. I cover New York Football Giants news, New York Mets, Brooklyn Nets. And I also do a co-host with my guys, Mac the Giants fan, Adam Costas, Zion Zenith, excellent football, UFC, basketball, baseball, very knowledgeable guys, as well as I do the hurry up every single day, as much as I can with my guy Adam Costas, and of course the work I do with not only you, DJ, but everybody else on the Hardcore Sports Network. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for allowing me on your platform, and everybody else. Have a fantastic rest of your night. I cannot wait for SmackDown. This is going to be a fucking awesome weekend of wrestling. Get ready.
That's what I like to hear, man. That's what I like to hear. Now, he's Jeffrey Turner. I'm DJ Storms. This has been The Rundown. But there's one last thing. The most important thing out of every single fucking stream that I do, man. Jeff, who runs the IWC?
Oh, come on. We already know who runs the IWC. It's DJ fucking Storms,
You're
bro.
damn right, baby. It is who but DJ motherfucking Storms. I'll catch you guys Saturday morning.